You all know that feeling when you wake up and you've already gotten through a Monday and you look around and you go, oh my gosh, there are boxes of comics coming into the shop. I got to put them away. And what? Okay, now I've responded to everybody in the inbox. Now I have nothing but meetings for the next 4 days. That's right. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday and it's 2 p.m. And that means it's time for Comic Industry Insiders, our weekly look at what's happening in the news and what we can kind of gather to make your business or career in comics a little bit better this week. We also do, if you're not, apparently if you're on Facebook, you're not seeing us. Sorry. So we do this every week and we bring in some people to talk, to hopefully give you some information you don't already have. And we do this thing right before it where we do, I'm really flubbing this week. I'm sorry for those of you who are coming in the room early, where we bring people in for our pre-show banter. And it's just basically our chance to kind of warm up the pipes and make sure that everybody can be heard. And this week, apparently that's really difficult. So let's bring in some people that I know can hear me. Joe Keating, why? I have no idea what I was going to ask you.
The eternal question.
Why? Just why Joe Keating? You know what I mean? I think we all have asked that at one time or another, you know?
Brother, I got a magazine going to press in 2 weeks. I ask myself that all the time.
Yeah. Oh, Tommy, you're sweet. Thank you. It takes a lot of work to look this pretty, and I appreciate it not going unseen. Yeah, we got a magazine going to press in 2 weeks. Yeah, you ready, bub? You ready?
Getting there.
Okay,
Getting there.
I'm also going to bring to the stage somebody who's now responsible for selling 100,000 units to it. Gabe Yoakum. Look at that.
Yeah. I try to be positive. I try to push us along, and this is the recompense that I am paid.
That's right.
So do me a favor, you
Yes, sir.
lovely retailers that are watching this nonsense, this tripe. Please get in contact with me and let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I can do for you in the next week and a half or so. I during the pre-show, I was letting everybody know that one of my favorite things on earth is talking to retailers on the phone, because I get to talk a little bit about what I want to talk about, but ultimately I just get to talk about comics, sometimes for an hour-long call that was meant to be 10 minutes. It just, you fall down this rabbit hole, and it's like the best thing in the world when you're like-minded and like, it's just,
exactly.
I forgot how much fun this was. See, the last time I was talking about comics on the phone with retailers on a regular basis was about 10 years ago, and the comics weren't very good. And so this has been really fun. Really fun.
That's also true. Lunatic Comics, absolutely. We're going to be talking to online retailers. We want everybody involved in this.
Yeah.
Do you have subscriptions? Because honestly, every single one of them should get a Comics the magazine.
I don't think you can see the whole thing here, but shoot me an email, gabe@pranadm.com, and we will talk. I will call you. Give me your phone number.
Awesome.
Might be 11 o'clock at night.
Bring up. You know what? I have a private hold card. I'm going to make sure I might even wait until we go live, because we've only got about 8-9 minutes until then. So this week we're going to be talking to some folks about making comic shops a bit more accessible to folks of all different needs and different abilities. And we have some really fantastic retailers up front. Let's bring to the stage Chris Barcombe. That's like 2 words, bar and comb. Only one of those do I have any use for. That right there, that joke killed. That killed before we went on air. It was just killed. I need a comb. It's really the joke. I like bars. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's I'm so glad you're able to come on the show. How's business been, by the way?
Business has been good. We're getting ready. We got Philip Kennedy Johnson coming on Saturday.
Who's that? I don't know who that is. That's
crazy.
I
know it's crazy. Yeah. So we've got him coming. We got a magic set coming out this week. So things are just rocking and rolling today. All the orders are coming in. So it's crazy.
I love that.
And I'm getting ready to do taxes.
Oh God. Oh, why? Don't say that word. How has your year been? I mean, so far, how was last year for you?
Last year was good. I don't want to say, but we had a very good last year. very good
I hear
last
you.
year. So
Very good. Very good is good. I like very good. I'll take that. We do have some very good people. Is that a great segue or not? I don't know. But we're going to bring another retailer to the crew. This year, one of this year's Eisner nominees, Mr. Sam, I did not get your pronunciation of your last name. We didn't get a chance to.
It's Bolenbaugh.
Bolenbaugh. There you go. I
Yep.
would have gotten there. I would have guessed that. Yeah. How you doing? How's the show?
Doing well. It's good. It's doing well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And how was last year for you as well?
It was a difficult year being so close to DC with the shutdown. Let's just say that.
Oh, I believe that.
With how many people near us either lost their jobs for 6 weeks. Yeah.
And I would imagine that the chaos that's happening in our federal government would have no effect on your business.
Oh, not at all.
generally
Being in a predominantly Latin neighborhood and, the
Yeah.
insurgency that comes with that.
I am absolutely certain that would be challenging. All right, I want to make a transition here about him being in his car, but that would be inappropriate. So instead, I'm just going to say hi. Welcome to Britton Payne. How are you,
Hello.
Britton?
I'm well. I'm comfortable in my mobile office. I'm glad to join the Brady Bunch setup that you guys have here.
I have to say, the sound quality in this sound booth you're in is fantastic.
Not too shabby, right?
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
a lot of soft surfaces for the sound to get absorbed into.
No echo really at all. I'm really impressed. We should all be doing this from our cars. I think that's what I'm learning. It's that's absolutely true. All right. My secret hold card for this week. I'm not Blake, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm just not. There's too many faces here. I'm not bringing you in, but every week I have a co-host who joins me and helping me do this. He's been here from the beginning. This week he's having a bit of a family emergency. So we're bringing on somebody you've seen. You're probably as sick of seeing as him as you are of me. But Mr. Django Boring.
Hi, I'm not Brian.
Not Brian. Proxy Garside. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In many things.
Really. What's the most surprising proxy you have for Brian?
Oh boy, it's when I get texts from his kids that go to me instead of him. It's super weird.
Oh, that is weird.
Yeah. I don't know why it happens, but I think he maybe gave them my number at some point and said it was him.
I don't know if you guys know the comedian Josh Johnson, but
Yes.
I don't know if any recognition there, but he does a weekly YouTube special, like legit. Like, the guy does material every single week that he posts on like an hour on YouTube. He's coming to town on February the 5th or something. I have tickets. I've been looking forward to it, but he just posted I think a couple weeks ago this entire bit on how. Did you know that you can put anybody down as your emergency contact? They don't have to be vetted. You don't have to know. Yeah.
You just need to trust that they'll be good in an emergency situation.
Or you just really want to fuck with them. Yeah. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Wait the 9 minutes. Oh,
9 minutes.
I can't wait 9 minutes.
It's a world record.
I think I waited a whole 10 there. 10 or 11. My goodness. All right. Before we got started, Joe, we have 4 minutes. Can you show us your mail call? You had a couple things. So we're starting a magazine. I don't know if any of you know. We're going to be talking a lot about it later. Comics the Magazine. And we've taken some flack, shall we say, for the fact. Okay, yes. Don't put Kyle down as your emergency contact. Okay, we've taken some flack for the fact that this is not what we think of as magazine size. It's going to be comic size. It's Comics the Magazine. Joe here is our editor-in-chief. Joe, you have a mail call here this week of stuff that we were showing us.
Yeah, well, I just was sharing. I got some stuff that I was really excited about. There's a great store that I went to when I was in San Diego Comic-Con called Now or Never Comics. One of the guys, principal there, Zach Norris, is a killer zine called Comics Roll Everything Around Me. It's a hip hop zine. Anyway, it's all about hip hop and comics. Highly recommended. And then coincidentally, at the same time we're launching a comics magazine, I got the news Chuck D's launching a hip hop magazine. Album size thing, all about hip hop, and it's really cool, and it's funny too. A lot of the stuff that they're talking about in here is coincides with the stuff that we're talking about with comics. So it's interesting to see parallels going on in different scenes.
I'm
You know?
curious, is it like how is that the Chuck D thing? I saw the announcement. I didn't dig any deeper. How is it distributed? Is it just going out through
I got it off the internet. I just got off their site. It was
Mm.
you go there, pay whatever it was, and $10,
Yeah.
and it shipped to my house. So
right
I
on?
don't know. It's British. I don't know what that's all about, but anyway.
That just means they use extra U's, right? That's
Yeah,
all
that's right.
that really means.
So.
Yeah. All right. Here's a question for the room. What have we not thought of in this magazine? Y'all know that we've been pulling our hair out trying to get this magazine done. Joe always wears a hat for that reason. What do you need from a magazine about comics that's going to come for at least 3 of you into comic shops? What is it you need from this thing to do? Like, this was the thing that's going to say, yep, I need to give this to every subscriber in my list.
Do you
Michael
have
Torma, what up, buddy? How you doing?
do you have a checklist of everything that's coming out the month after the thing? I know that's weird as a point of sale subscription management guy to pitch, but people like checklists.
It's a big one. We're working on a checklist. We're working on something that will at least be a look at the stuff that's in the magazine, right? The stuff that we're pushing, and we'll always be coming out on the first week of the month. So anything we're talking about, we're really focusing on trying to put it out for the stuff that's coming in that month. So we are working with publishers to try and build like a bit of a catalog. It's gonna, that part's a work in progress. I would say it's a lot more challenging than you would think to find room for that and build it.
How about a pronunciation guide for creator names, Joe?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they ran that Marvel Age a while ago. I think it's a good idea to update that. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
I mean, there are also other names that could use that name, or she/are. I've heard a lot of different variations on just comic book character names too.
That's a good point. Pronunciation guide.
Magneto.
Right, exactly.
He was right.
Yeah, he's convinced he's right, at least.
That's all it takes in America these days.
Just be convinced and say it over and over again. Chris, what about you? What would be in this magazine that would be good?
So I'm a really
make it quick because we got to go live.
Big fan of the putting out what's to come, but also like reading recommended list. So like, say you like Batman, here's what you should read Batman. You like Superman, so new readers get something to go off of when they're looking for things to read.
Oh man, and that would be based on stuff that they're already into, right? That would be like
it could be anything. So when you're just like, hey, I need a list for someone who's looking for X-Men titles, here's what's currently, here's what we recommend reading.
I love that. All right. Now's the part of the show where I kick you out, and then Django and I talk for a little bit, and we bring some of you guys back on, and we're going to talk about making our stores more accessible. Let's go. Blake, push buttons. I'm not pushing any more buttons. Let's go. Hands off.
Hands.
Welcome back. Hey, it's Tuesday. That means it's time for Comic Industry Insiders, our weekly look at the big headlines that are affecting the comics industry, our look ahead at what's coming into the comics stores, and our opportunity to find ways to bring just a little more information, a little more education to any of you who are building a business or career in comics. Thank you so much for joining us. Blake, I think we're doing a giveaway this week. Let's get that ready. But first, I'm going to introduce this week's co-host. Normally, it is my buddy Brian Garside, who is our favorite Canadian. He's having a bit of a family emergency. Our thoughts and prayers are with you there, Brian. But this week, we brought in somebody you're probably as sick of seeing as you are me. And yes, I've already used that joke. It's Django Boren.
Hey, buddy. I think they're as sick of seeing you as they are of seeing me. Not the other way around.
That is probably, I don't know if that's true or not. I think that there are probably more people sick of seeing me than they are you. That's my guess.
Right. That's fair.
I get a little more FaceTime than I really should. Has anyone started referring to this as CIN? What would it go? Where'd it go? CNN, Comics Industry Insiders. No, that hadn't actually put that together. CNN. This is CNN. Yeah, that's right. No one is sick of our data pals, data bros. They don't have pals on the knuckles.
No.
All right. Let's look, Blake, let's pull up that slide. Let's talk about the giveaway. Every week we're giving away up until Comics the Magazine #1 comes out. We're giving away a Comics the Magazine #0. This is going for weirdly $85 when you can see it online. It goes for $85. So we're basically sending you an $85 bill when we send this to you. We're also going to be sending you this full set of Comic Industry Insiders trading cards that includes Steve Anderson from Third Eye, Jack DeMaio from Whatnot, Gamal Hennessy, our lawyer, Sam Cusick, formerly of Kickstarter, Judy Kalchik from Bink, and Christina Merkler from Lunar Distribution. All you got to do is put #insiders into the comments, and there's just going to be a little bit of technological magic, and we're going to pick out somebody. We've had people ask how you can get this. Just watch the show. 1 in 20 of you is going to get this every week. Just watch it every time.
Yeah.
Gabe says there is no $85 bill.
Says him.
Well, we have to already put our first retraction in. I apologize.
That's what you can put in Comics the Magazine as a big retractions page, and just leave it empty until you have one.
That's right. Exactly. No retractions this week.
This page intentionally left blank.
All right. So what are we doing this week? We're talking about real change in stores. So the idea of making our comic shops open to as many people as possible. We have an opportunity right this year for seeing so many people come into the comic shops that we wanted to take a moment before this hopefully massive rally begins to discuss how we make them a little more accessible. And Django, I know this is something that you've thought long and hard about at your store. You have a place, a comics place.
A comics place. Yeah, just Comics Place up in Bellingham, Washington. And we definitely, that's a big part of our store design, is making sure that we've got, 3 feet between shelves and things are friendly. We're intentional about what goes on the lower shelves versus the higher shelves. And our staff is all ready to help anybody to do whatever they need. We do have an upstairs, but we're pretty careful about what goes up there and making sure that it's not part of the core offerings. And we have a lot of tools to make sure that people can get that stuff, even if they can't navigate the stairs, for example. So
that's excellent. Well, we're looking forward to talking to this panel who is going to help us put together some best practices and, how we can think about all of the communities that come to comic shops, how we can make these stores that hub in their life that has become for the rest of us, and make it just as valuable for everyone. We're also going to be doing a couple of final cuts. We have 2 final cut videos this week that are going to be talking about books that are coming into your shops, and we're giving our stores that are watching one last opportunity to take a look. If you're pre-ordering, a last opportunity to pre-order from your store. We're going to be talking about some headlines. I like the headlines this week. They're a lot of fun. We're going to be talking market share report that we're getting partially through our friends at Comic Shop Assistant. Django is another one of us who can't just do one thing with his day. He has to do many things.
Impossible.
We're going to have our panel we've been talking about, from ramps to real change, and we'll be doing another final cut for The Future Is, the Free Comic Book Day Annual, that I'm so excited for. And Joe, if you're watching this, maybe even stick around, because we might have you back on right after that to talk a little bit about how cool that piece is. Awesome. This week we're going to be talking about market share from last week's books in stores. It's just going to be total market share based on the stores themselves. Every week now, from now on, in the Prana Bullet, you're going to be getting the top 400 single issue comics that sold in stores last week. So you want to sign up for this weekly newsletter we send out the Prana Bullet, go to pranadm.com, scan this QR code or the link in the comments, and we can get you signed up for the very next one. We also do a big rundown of all of the headlines we think are important, and give you some insight into what our clients are doing. So there's
That
that.
sales chart is awesome to see. Like, surprising, even though I have kind of direct access to it. I look at it, I'm like, whoa, how did they sell that many of that thing? You know?
And you know what? This week we're going to be looking at the 96 stores, I want to say, that came through in this week's report from you.
Mhm.
But very, very soon we're going to be adding in Brian's data, which is going to be
Yeah.
adding in another 400 stores. So we're going to
Yeah.
have data from 500 stores in the next couple months. So
like
that is
20%.
building. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's get into our first video. So this is a Final Cut is a segment that we do every time that one of our clients at Prana DM, every time we have somebody who's coming up for final order cutoff, FOC, for those of you in the know, we do one of these quick videos where Keith Davidson, our specialist for the direct market, sits down with the client or the creators to talk about that book. This week, I think it's about Frankenstein. Blake, why don't you run it?
The Final Cut, where we take a quick look at upcoming projects. I'm your host, Keith Davidson, Prana's direct market specialist, and I'm joined this week by Wells Thompson, the author of the graphic novel Frankenstein the Unconquered. Wells, welcome.
Hey, Keith. Happy to be on.
Let's begin with the premise of Frankenstein the Unconquered. What's the story about, and what makes it a unique take on Mary Shelley's classic tale?
So Frankenstein the Unconquered is something of an unofficial sequel to the original novel, where 500 years after the monster goes into the ice, he thaws out, finds that the world is bombed out and post-apocalyptic, and looks a lot more like he does. It's a Conan the Barbarian style revenge thriller starring monsters from the pantheon of Universal Horror. It's sort of our love letter to the horror media we grew up loving, whether it was old classic Universal Horror monsters or Terminator 2 or Mad Max or that sort of like pulpy, over-the-top 80s action.
So while the classic literary and film monsters never truly go away, it does seem like we're having a moment right now with Robert Eggers' Nosferatu and Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. What are your thoughts on the current appeal for classic monsters?
I think that we tend to glom onto horror icons when times get stressful, that they give us sort of an avenue of escape, and people start getting creative with old toys at that time. So I'm not surprised at this point to see some really fantastic projects coming in cinema and comics that revolve around these classic monsters.
So now when you think of the perfect type of reader for this book, how would you describe that person?
From experience, I think that it's mostly men that are a little checked out and then see the cover and go, oh, that looks awesome. Like someone who is looking for a really pulse-pounding horror book or might not know what they're looking for, but that ultimately is going to be kind of swept up in the nature of a big dude with a sword kind of fantasy. And then on top of that, you have the horror bents that you can sell people on. You have all sorts of different layers that you can add to that demographic.
Are there any key selling points that retailers should know about Frankenstein the Unconquered?
I think there's a little something to sell to everybody, but I think the most obvious thing is just the cover from Heather Vaughn is one of the most gorgeous Frank Frazetta style painted covers that we've ever put on a book. I put it all over my personal website and my con table, and it immediately attracts people. It gets people from across the room to come over. Put it out. People will ask about it.
Are there any last words that you'd like to share about Frankenstein the Unconquered?
I mean, this book is such a love letter to the source material, as well as just being a passion project with everyone involved, and I think that bleeds through on everything from the art to the story, and it's something that we take a lot of pride in, so it's definitely something that I'm willing to put myself out there and say, this is great, you should check it out. Whether that's coming to a store and doing a signing or just shouting as loud as I can online, I'll always find time to sing its praises. That said, a big thank you to all the retailers who are supporting the book and ordering it from us. It means quite a bit, and seeing it in stores is truly a dream come true.
Well, Wells, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us on The Final Cut.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And to our viewers, one last reminder that Frankenstein the Unconquered, published by SourcePoint Press, will be hitting stores in February. Retailers, look for it in the Prana Publishers section of your distributor catalog. Take care.
Man, I really like Wells.
That
I
art
do.
is awesome.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the paneling too. Looks super cool.
Yeah, I don't think that Wells ever really hit my radar until Baltimore. He I think he won a Ringo this last year, and man, his acceptance speech like really caught me. Anyway,
Yeah.
Frankenstein the Unconquered. If you're like me and you've been watching Frankenstein on Netflix, and you're also like me, it takes you several times to get through an entire movie. You're gonna enjoy this one. Also, beautiful art, really great storytelling. Make sure that you're signing up. It is in the Prana Publisher section in Lunar and in Universal for those retailers who are ordering it. Awesome. Thank you. All right. You know what? There are sometimes I like to hit the buttons. It's time to talk about headlines, my friend. How are you? Are you ready? Have you boned up? Are you ready to talk about them?
I know everything about every headline that you could throw at me right now.
Because I'm just at this point, I'm just going to say it and then listen to your commentary. That's basically all I'm going to be doing. Wonderful. Let's go. Can I push the button? I'm going to push the button. All right, here we go. Action Comics #1. $15 million.
That is so crazy. And this is Nicolas Cage's copy, right? So it's got like a long, weird pedigree where he owned it and then it got stolen and found in a storage locker and given back to him and then sold for, was it like 2.9 million or something? And now it's being sold again for $15 million. That's crazy. I'd rather have this than all the blind bags in the world.
All the blind bags?
All the blind bags.
That's a lot of blind. It's a lot of opening. It's a lot of damaged Marvel comics is what that is.
I'd rather sell one than however many blind bags there are. I'd rather tell my banker I have an Action Comics #1 instead of I have a warehouse full of plastic and paper.
Well, we just did an interview with Brian McClay, how he was talking about those early days of the kind of the speculator community when they're coming together, and how their goal was to really find their grail comic by leveling up. They buy the one they like and then they sell that one and they use that money to buy the one until they get to the grail, right?
We have little kids who come in and do that in the store sometimes as part of the YMCA project. Hey, I have a pencil. Will you trade me for something better?
That's right.
I love it.
Like that kid on the internet who became like super famous by starting with a penny and working his way around the world or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, see that you could get rid of your millions of comics and get there. I will say on a personal note, my favorite part of this particular story is last week I had a meeting with Vincent Zerzuro, who is the seller of this book.
Okay.
And he was in the middle of it. He goes, "I'm sorry. I know we had this meeting scheduled for a certain amount of time, but I have to go because my publicist, you'll know when you see it." Oh, okay.
I just made $12 million.
Exactly right. Jeez,
that's so crazy, man. It's a shame that books like this, I mean, we can definitely see a trend upward, but we can't see a trend of stability because it's so rare that one of these things in this condition sells, right?
Yeah.
Is
right.
my Action 8.5 worth anywhere near this, or is this a fluke, right?
I know people, and we talk to people who have spent careers studying that and trying to understand and read those tea leaves. And it's, I mean, it is a tough one knowing what effect this will have, except that I remember when, a Superman comic finally sold for $1 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy points out this book helped finance the Ghost Rider movie. Well, I don't know. That's possible.
Crazy.
I haven't heard that story, but that
like that.
Seems right to me.
Yeah. Talk about a pedigree.
Yeah, no kidding. Considering who owned this book. Okay, this one. Did you have some time to wrap your brain around this one? Because I still don't understand what's happening here. And by the way, if you're in the audience, I'm going to say this right now. Put it on a call. Just put it on a call on social media. I'm realizing that as any news broadcasting, I don't know what it is we are. We occasionally need pundits. We
Sure.
really desperately need a pundit that can come on and talk us through these big conversations about these big financing stories and about bankruptcies and how these come together. If you are that person and you know anything about comics and you wear a suit for a living, I think I'm putting that the provision on there. You got to wear a suit for a living. We'd love to have you on the show because, frankly, we really need some people who understand what the hell is going on here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go off the rails just a little bit here.
Go.
When I'm reading comics set in a cosmic setting, I have a really hard time understanding the stakes or the power sets, right? Like,
Right.
well, cool. You're gonna hit Thanos with an energy beam. What does that mean? Right? I understand it when Batman has his feet on a fire escape and he punches a punk. I get it. It hurts, right?
Yeah.
But does Thanos feel that energy beam? I don't know. I have to read the dialogue to find out, right?
Yeah.
And I feel the same way when I see these big corporate deals. Like, I don't know what the power rankings are. I don't know what any of this stuff, like, oh, cool, you're suing them. That would be terrifying if you were suing me. But they don't see, Warner Brothers doesn't seem to care that they're suing them, right? Like, they're like, oh,
Exactly.
yeah, just pay us more or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, that was my first thought when I saw that this was on the rundown. And then I started thinking about, like, this is almost, and you know, I don't know what anybody's intentions are, but this feels almost like a battle for movie theaters, right? Because if Netflix gets Warner Brothers and we get DC movies in theaters for 7 days, that's it. Like, movies are going to change a lot, and movie theaters are going to not be able to weather that storm gracefully. It's going to be hard, right? So I would believe that Paramount has the intention of buying Warner Brothers and making more movies in movie theaters and then streaming them, and that Netflix, I don't know, that Netflix wants to be in movie theaters more than they want to be on your TV screen.
You know, I will say I did go see that most recent Knives Out movie at the movie theater before. It was a strange experience sitting in the movie theater and seeing the Netflix logo come up. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
I had a you know, almost guttural reaction to, like, pushing the fast forward button. It was very weird.
Right. Yeah. Unless can I pause it and see how much more we have left?
Yeah, right. Exactly. That is the worst part. I want to know where the halfway point is. I really do.
Sure.
I'm obsessed with this in movies.
Yeah.
When is the halfway point? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes me nervous because I really like movie theaters. It's one of the few places I go to not multitask. And I don't like only having, like, even now we have we'll have 8 weeks or 9 weeks to see the biggest movie of the year, Avatar, and then it's gone. And if you cut that back to 7 days, like, I think Knives Out was in theaters for maybe 14 days, and I luckily got to see it. But if it had been 7 days, I would have missed it.
That's a good point. We use theaters now to focus us in, right? I just said we on that last story. It's taken us 3-4 sittings to watch Frankenstein.
Yeah, and I'll bet that that's not what Guillermo del Toro intended.
I doubt it. I also bet he didn't want me to have my phone in my hand, which he sure did. You know, yeah, which I wouldn't in a movie theater. I would never do that. Yeah, it's a good point. It is the place that we go. And it is a battle for those. And once again, we talk a lot about comic shops, about it being a special place where we go for this.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy this product anywhere cheaper and faster to arrive to your home and blah, 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 blah. We want a place to go.
Right.
Battle for movie theaters. I'm so glad we had you on this week. That's a great take. Good job,
Brian,
Rob.
regular Brian would have said that too.
Well, maybe. Maybe if you were feeding it to him. He's like looking at his phone to get text. Yeah. With you. Anyway, if you're an expert in this kind of stuff, we'd love to have you because I really want to hear it, you know, because I agree, Jeremy, it is all about IP, but, like, at the end of the day, it's not just whoever has the most IP wins, right? These are larger conversations about lawsuits and bankruptcies and manipulations of things that I just, you know, my career in comic books that started working in a comic shop has not prepared me to talk about.
Yeah. I don't even know what is it, like a 4-point-something billion dollar punishment if Warner Brothers pulls out of the Netflix deal. That's like eternity fighting Thanos, you know, like, Cool.
Great.
Whatever.
$4.1 billion.
Might as well be $3,000 to me. I don't
How
know.
will they wear that? I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe that's not a big deal. Is that a big deal?
Is that
Yeah.
more than the cost to buy 2 houses? Because after that, I lose track.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. All right. So, oh, this is a good one. So weren't able to throw in an extra slide, but we have finally entering a new era for the Eisner Awards. Jackie Estrada just stepped down. She was named she was one of the most interesting people of the year, named by the Beat. She has been running the Eisner Awards for, I mean, as long as there have been Eisner Awards. She's an incredible force who has really made that what it is. They just named the new organizer for the Eisner Awards, Laura Jones. Now, here's where I'm going to ask for some help. Is this the right Laura Jones? Because we are not sure.
I went to high school with a Laura Jones, and this is not that Laura Jones.
So this is the Laura Jones who is a creator of comics. I've met Laura several times. I was working on getting some work from her at a previous publisher. She's, very smart, very talented, incredible person. I think she was fantastic for this job. The only lead that we have that this is the right Laura Jones is a picture, as a screen grab that Rich Johnson pulled from a video for his story on this naming. So we could be wrong. This slide could be wrong.
At the very least, this slide should say with the mysterious Laura Jones.
Is this Laura Jones? So, and I will tell you, the only reason we feel halfway confident, you're going to like this one a lot. Blake actually went and found that picture, that screen grab, and then found another picture of the creator, Laura Jones, and then compared the tattoos on these two people's, and they match.
Nice.
So we CSI'd our way into this is the Laura Jones who is now running the Eisners.
And your source of truth is a screen grab from Bleeding Cool.
Jamie Coville.
That's right.
We got a second confirmation.
Nice.
It's the real Laura Jones.
Nice.
Okay,
so
but
now we got to change the slide to the real Laura Jones.
Are we saying that the Laura Jones, this is the real Laura Jones, is actually running it? Is running the Eisners? Somebody help us, please. All right. Apparently, we need experts now.
That's got to be a pretty big, very specific job to do. And I'm glad to see that Jackie's going to stay on to help that transition, because I can't imagine being thrown into that.
Oh my
just
God.
Having gone as an attendee is like, this organizational thing is like wild.
Well, I can tell you, I've been a judge of the Eisners, and it was a very weird year because it was the year that, as a retailer, we were nominated for the Eisner Spirit of Retail Award, which is done by a different group, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I was there as a judge for the Eisners, the book Eisners, and so we went through that process. Now, this was before Zooms. This was before, really before you could read PDFs easily. Like this is the dark ages, basicbut
Yeah.
We were shipping boxes of stuff around to each other. It was 2008. It wasn't that long ago. Whatever.
Darkish ages.
But it was really expensive to ship those books around. So we all had to come together and like sit in a hotel, like conference room for 3 days.
Uh-huh.
Just reading comics and talking about comics. And then we're like, okay, we're going to do this next one. Everybody sit down and cram. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. And it was like that for 3 solid days.
That's wild.
It is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say there's a lot going on. She has a big job ahead of her. And I really think the world of the Laura Jones that I knew, who now Jamie is confirming is running the Eisners. Thank you, Jamie Coville, coming in, clutch player. Really appreciate you, buddy. Awesome. All right, good deal. All right, our primary story for the week, from ramps to real change. We this week have put together a panel of folks that can help us talk about my Eisner books can vote now. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you.
Oh, because you're old.
We put together a panel of folks who can help us think about how comic shops should be designed for our future to grow into this much larger audience that we're now all beginning to serve. These people that are coming in for the first time, that are new generations of folks who were raised on comics and are now entering comic shops really with no understanding of what a comic shop is or should be. So we have this really rare opportunity to start rethinking what the designs of these shops can be. And so we put together a panel of experts. Blake, I'm going to read this and I'm going to not know who's up. So why don't you go ahead and pull them up, and I'm just going to run through our introductions and you can pull them up, and I'll just welcome everybody at the end. Sam Bolenbaugh is the co-owner of Dreamers and Make Believers in Baltimore, Maryland. This 2025 Will Eisner Spirit of Retail nominee is carving out a niche in their shop as Baltimore's only community bookstore, comic shop, and coffee house. Sam also runs the Baltimore Graphic Novel Festival. Once again, one of us can't do just one thing. Welcome to the show, Sam. Chris Barcombe is the owner of The Secret Lair in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Chris is also a comic book writer of the series The Amazing Adventures of Superior Sam. Not Sam Bolenbaugh that I know of. We can get into that if you want. Chris is also, we already did that part, turning his personal injury recovery story into a resource to inspire others, especially children, with life lessons and the message that being different is okay. That's Barcombe, by the way. 2 words. Barcombe. It's actually 1 word, but there you go. All right. Britton Payne is the founder and director of The Autism Scene, a nonprofit advocating for the inclusion of more explicitly autistic characters in kids' pop culture, and manager of the AU SPEC Awards, kids animated spec script competition that requires a series regular, meaningfully interacting with explicitly autistic character. I may have flubbed that entire line. Welcome, Britton. You were basically the one who inspired this whole thing. So
well, good. That's neat. I think it's a fun topic.
Britton reached out to me not too long ago. Occasionally I'll put out a link into social media drop saying, hey, book a meeting. Let's talk about how we can work together. Britton took me up on that, and we got to talking. And I think this really kind of came out of you being a fan of one of the books that we're working on. Am I wrong about that, Britton? Or if not, praise me anyway.
No, that's right. Future is I had a conversation not a long time ago at Emerald City Comic Con about a year ago, I guess, with Fred Van Lente. He was curious about an autism issue, and he knew that I had spoken at Comic Cons about autism and pop culture, and it led into him trying to think about how he wanted to conceive presenting autism or something similar to autism in the comic book. And I sort of offered him my opinion, and I guess those issues are coming out now or soon, and I feel it was really cool to have that conversation with him.
They're actually out now, and we've been having some really incredible feedback from folks in the autism community, just about some of the words we're being very explicitly saying that autism is not a disease. It is just a condition. Like, I have a beard, right? You're going to deal with me differently because I have a beard than you're going to deal with Britton, who chooses to spend that time shaving his face. So so we talked about that in the comic itself. Actually, we called that out, and that panel I've seen sent to me now 3 times from folks in that community. So it is very very heartening, and I think much credit is given to both Fred Van Lente and Joe Keating, who's editor-in-chief of that book, who was just on as well. And they've done an incredible job of putting that together. The artist on that title is just doing an amazing job. I will say that it was one of my favorite things that we've worked on so far. So anyway, thank you so much for sparking this conversation, because once we started trying to figure out how to practically put it together, we ended up with this incredible panel. Sam, tell me about why this has become an important subject for you.
Yeah, so when we were opening and looking for our space, Baltimore is a very old city, and there is nothing that is like truly ADA accessible. Like, you've got to break out the ramp to get into an old row home bodega or something like that. So it is not wheelchair friendly at all. It's, a lot of places are super loud, so it's not sensory friendly. So we, as part of our mission, made sure that we were wheelchair friendly, any mobility aid friendly, disability friendly, autism friendly, sensory friendly, everything. And that is part of where we spent so much time picking out the color temperature of lights to make sure that, warm, because warm white in like the 3000 Kelvin range is sensory friendly, unlike, the cool blue that we, see from so much fluorescent. Making sure that there's not a overabundance of music or loud noises throughout the shop, to make sure that it is friendly, and having wheelchair accessible bathrooms, everything from there to even with our graphic novel festival that we produce, we have ASL interpreters, we have as volunteers to help disability or disabled vendors come in and load in, so that it is an event truly for all.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for doing that work and leading the way. And I'm looking forward to digging into some of the things that we should be looking for as best practices. But before we get there, Chris, this is one of those awkward moments where I'm looking for a way to introduce your bona fides in this conversation. So why don't you talk about why this is an important aspect to you and what your journey to this and being a retailer looked like?
So I have a progressive nerve disease as a result of a training accident from when I used to be a police officer. As a result of that, I lost part of my right leg. So for several years before I lost my leg, comics was kind of the thing that gave me hope in a lot of ways. It was, it was this thing that I was able to do as a disabled person by myself, and I never felt bad about, because I didn't need help a lot of times. So it was interesting, but what I noticed as I was doing it is like I was going to visit other stores and I was having hard times in stores, like getting around, moving around. And look, I am 100%. You have the space you have, you work with it the way you can, you do the best you can. I understand that. But it was always interesting to me, watching it. And then when my buddy opened this store that I then bought from him, he was like, "Hey, what can we do to make it so you can get around? Do you know other people?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we slowly started to notice, like, we have the Virginia School of the Deaf and the Blind is about 20 minutes from us. So we have that. We have a couple group homes for adults with I don't want to call it mental disabilities, but different challenges. So they come in, and it was just like we were seeing all these different groups of people. And we have JMU, we have James Madison, right at the corner of the school. So we were getting lots of different people in here and lots of different groups. And it was like, this is their hub. What can we do to make sure everybody's as comfortable as we can when they're all in the store and when they're all interacting with each other? Because that's when people come together, is when they don't have to worry about the things that make them different. It's the things they have in common, which are the comics. So
that's wonderful. Thank you for that. So tell us about the book that you've built.
So I assume you're referring to Sam. So
yeah.
Superior Sam was my idea. I used to, when I retired from being a police officer, I went to teaching in an after school program. It was called Bricks for Kids. It was teaching basically STEM with Legos. And one of the kids I taught was on the spectrum, and he didn't understand what was happening to his teacher. Like I had a lot of issues with this kid for the 2 years that I taught him after school, but we had kind of finally figured out what worked together for us. Like he was more visual. When he finished, we just let him do what he wanted. And the idea was, I went to my mom, who worked for Barnes and Noble at the time, and I was like, "Hey, do you have a book teaching kids about amputees?" And she's like, "Nope, don't have anything like that other than like doctor's books and, biographies and autobiographies." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So I wrote like a little short story about a kid that has an accident at the playground, loses his leg, and then goes about, kind of back to normal and everything, but he becomes a superhero. And then it was like, well, I think I could get this published. So we published it, and then that's a whole story. But then we started self-publishing it after my publisher went out of business. And ever since then, the idea has been, okay, let's include other people with disabilities so they get other aspects that there's more than just one type of disability out there. So we have, I'm trying to go through some of the characters that we have. So we have a deaf character. We have a character who has a kidney disease, who's actually based off a real life kid that I had met at a show, who's like, I just want to be in a comic book. So we put him in the book. And, that was fun. I've got so many little kid characters like down the road. We just never did, because when I bought the store, I kind of put the book on hiatus, because running all of this is an alt inclusive thing. So like I haven't done Sam in like 3 years, and it's always funny because like the one area I struggled with was we never did a book for people on the spectrum, and that was the community that embraced Sam the most, but it was the one that I always felt like I had to get right. Like that was the one I had to get right, because that was the community, and I had a story and I was pretty happy with it, but then we bought the store and it was like, okay, we got to put all our focus into the store.
Well, let me introduce you to Britton, who apparently is the expert on characters with autism. Britton, tell us about that. Like, tell us about the history of autism inside of comic books, and how you have seen this grow and or change.
Yeah, it's been really cool. So I first, like Chris, you're both, Chris and Sam, your stories are really awesome. And Chris, you were showing one of your toys. I'm assuming it's something that you use pretty regularly, that you held up. And I'm going to just say, if nobody has ever said Boba Foot to you before, I wanted to be the first. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I like speaking at Comic Cons and speaking generally. I'm a lifelong comic book fan. I'm an attorney. I worked at Nickelodeon, DC Comics, Warner Brothers Animation over the last number of years. And my son's autistic. He's 11 years old now. So when I started thinking about, okay, well, I think it's important that that neurotypical kids see autistic kids in their pop culture as a way of modeling how to interact with them. That's sort of the thesis that I'm going with. And so I did a panel that was called Autism in Comic Books, because I had gone to something that I thought was going to be autism in comic books, and it turned out to be a panel about being an ADHD creator of comics. And like, even though it was a really good panel, I like folded my arms and was like, man, it's not what I was looking for. And so I made my own. And I just went and found literally every explicitly autistic character in the history of comics. I knew a handful off the top of my head. I knew that Reed Richards had sort of a glancing reference to autism in both the Grant Morrison story. Well, actually, I only really knew about the Grant Morrison story. I found one other. And Black Manta, I remember that his origin had included him being autistic. And then, some of these older depictions of autism aren't the way we would think of it currently, but they existed. And in the cyclical nature of comic books, if you call it out, then maybe it'll come back. And then you have all those slice of life comics, the stuff that younger kids are reading now, and some of those are starting to have explicitly autistic characters. So when I first started looking, there were about 22, and now I've found some more. And I've tried to sort of stick with print publishers and with things that are a little bit more widespread, but I do include whatever I can in this list. Now it's up to about 40. And I know for a fact that there's at least one new autistic character in DC Comics because of just making noise about it, and so when I think about how to make more noise about getting autistic characters into kids pop culture, I just look around and see, like, what do I have access to? And I have a Rolodex with a bunch of people in Hollywood, and trying to sort of seed the ground. The more we say the word autism, the less weird the word autism sounds. And then I also think about this line of like a tolerance line, where if you imagine when there's a majority culture and a minority culture, and the majority culture is willing to be tolerant towards the minority culture, that was sort of what was the target in the 80s. You were praised if you were tolerant. Everybody was trying to be tolerant. And if you really think about the meaning of the word, like almost in a Josh Jacobs kind of way, Adam, to refer to something you talked about before, tolerant isn't quite good enough. Maybe it's Michael Che I should be citing. It's a start. It's a good start. And then the next step maybe is accessibility. So I'm sure, Chris, you've thought about this a lot, it seems like, too. And so have you, Sam, where accommodation means you're making the things accessible. You're making it so that people can come in, right? But then the next step really would be inclusion. And that's sort of where I see it. My son went to an inclusion model school for a while. And it's tricky, right? It's tricky to figure out how to get the neurotypical kids on a playground to figure out how to include the kid that they've already tolerated and accommodated. He's there, but he's not playing with them. How do you work on inclusion? So when you're thinking about your comic book stores and how you're going to try and make it more accessible, think about that sort of timeline. You know, it's not, or that spectrum. It's not a full spectrum of the way we think of autism, but it is like a sort of a way to develop the way you're going to accommodate the people who you hope to be customers. You hope them to come back. You're going to start by saying you're going to tolerate them if they come in. That's terrific. And then you're going to move towards accessibility. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to make it so that it's easier for them to get in and be here. And then you think about inclusion. Okay, well, what are the things the people who come in are engaging with? And how can I help make people who have different needs and different levels of support similarly be included in those things? And I don't know, that's sort of how I think about it. It's particular to autism because sometimes it's not entirely visible. It's considered sometimes an invisible disability. If you look to a particular issue of Metal Men from 1967, where they had invisible handicap was what they called it. And it was just a little cartoon about one to grow on from that. But as you think about that kind of stuff, autism can be a little tricky, and mostly listening and trying to have empathy and training your folks who work there to be sensitive. The 6-second rule, I think, is a good one for autism. There's a bunch of things on my list, but the 6-second rule is give somebody a chance to process when you're talking to them. Give a little bit of silence so that if you ask them a question, don't ask them a follow-up question. Don't assume that they didn't hear you. Give them a chance to respond to you, and then maybe they just take a little bit more time. Maybe that's one technique you can try, and maybe it'll work. And there are all kinds of things like that. But just the fact that you're thinking about it is such a huge step in the right direction.
Okay, so incredible. Thank you. Also, it's so frustrating because you just covered like 3 of my questions for you guys, but that's okay because we're about to run out of time anyway. Toleration, inclusion, acceptance. Those are the 3.
I would switch the 2 middle, but tolerance,
acceptance,
tolerance,
inclusion,
accommodation, inclusion.
You've just given some great tips, Sam. You gave some great tips in your just kind of introduction there. Do you have anything else? What would you say for a store that is like maybe just getting off the ground? They're beginning to start feeling like they're coming from a position of strength, and they want to begin this idea of being accommodating or inclusive, or I suppose tolerant. What else would you say for this store? What are the first steps that they should be looking at?
Thinking about and doing the research on what the potential triggers are, which, noise is a big trigger for those who have, sensory sensitivity, or even, somebody with PTSD. Anything that's a loud noise could trigger somebody's PTSD, because we don't often think about that when we think about disabilities also. So noise and brightness levels and, making sure that it's not too visually overwhelming as well, which I know is hard in a comic shop, because it is so visual.
It's supposed to be.
It's
all the
supposed to be
definition
so
of visually overwhelming. Yeah.
It is, yes. But making sure that it is easy to separate some of that visual overwhelming.
Awesome. Chris, what would you say are some of the surprising pieces, even for you as you're building out this sort of environment? Were there any surprising things that you had to build into your environment for that type of inclusion?
Well, I'd say the first thing is just you have all the space, and when you're thinking, oh, I could fit this here, I could fit this here, start thinking about, can somebody fit there? And whether that person's in a wheelchair, they have crutches or a walker. So that's like the first thing that I think about. And then it's, okay, how high is this? Is this too high for somebody in a wheelchair? Okay, well, it's a fixed deck, so I can't get it lower, but do I have a way to get it lower? So it's like, let me buy an extra table that has adjustable legs so I can move things down when I need to, for someone who, say, wants to go through back issues. The other things that I look at, I listen a lot. When somebody comes in, and especially if there's somebody who's different, I'm listening to what they're saying. I'm not trying to eavesdrop, but I'm listening to if they have any issues or complaints, so I could try to address those in the future. Or I'll ask them like, hey, you were in, you didn't seem very happy. Was there something we could have done that was better? And being able to accept that criticism if you didn't do something right, and then being able to show them that you applied it in the future. So if they do come back, you were ready. I think another thing you can do is figure out what's in your area and know that you may encounter that first, and then try to figuring out the other things. Like, I know the Virginia School of the Deaf and the Blind isn't very far from us. We have deaf customers. So making sure we have pens and papers, or my employees know that there's a phone line they can call that will translate for them. So it's like, let the translate line click in and tell you what's going on. It's not a telemarketer. So we have that, but it's also when someone comes in and, sometimes, especially with service animals, it's, oh, we don't allow pets in the store. It's, well, is it a service animal? Is it something you need? Like, making sure that you're addressing that situation right before you just say no to somebody coming in. I have a lot of diabetic customers. So it's like, I don't really like food and drink in the water in the store, but it's also, well, I'm trying to keep my blood sugar in the same place. So let me make sure that I have this with me. And I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. I got you. So
I love that.
I think too, it's worth mentioning both, all the accommodations that you'll talk about between Sam and Chris's suggestions and mine too, are the kinds of things that everybody benefits from. We found that with autism therapies with my son, the kind of things, the interventions that we were trying with him when he was younger, were great for my daughter who's neurotypical. And if you think about curb cuts, who doesn't use curb cuts when they're walking down the street and they're dragging their, grocery cart behind them, or so and the wider aisles, and everybody's favorite stall in the men's room is definitely the handicap stall, and so all these
like a suite.
accommodations.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. But they all should be that big is kind of the point. And so the accommodations that you make for people who need accommodations tend to be beneficial for just about everybody. So it's not a sacrifice that you're making for a smaller portion of your client base. It's something that might end up helping everybody. And they are solvable problems. If you feel like because you need to have wider aisles or keep product, on a lower shelf to accommodate somebody who kind of needs that, but you're worried that you're not going to be able to have enough of your inventory out, or whatever the business problem is, they are solvable problems. It just takes a little creativity. Your store, how to solve things. And if somebody told you this is the way it's going to be, you'd figure it out and you'd be able to make your store thrive. So these aren't accommodations that necessarily cost you very much. They benefit more than just the community that most directly needs them. They benefit everybody.
I think one of the things that we've done in our store has been to hire empathetic people and train with empathy, and just sort of have our employees lead by example. Because one difficult thing when you've got, like we have a group of developmentally disabled adults that come into the store as like a field trip once or twice or 6 times a week. They vote where they go, and we win that vote often. And so we can have other customers in the store, and when this group of 15 people descends, they can be like kind of out of whack, and we don't make a big deal out of it. We joke around with everybody. It's like, and it kind of helps get the other customers who aren't on the field trip, to realize that this is a place for everybody, and not to be freaked out when they're encountering somebody who's not like them.
That's awesome, Django. When you model that behavior, that rubs off on them. So the next time they're in the supermarket, they're like, oh yeah, that's right. That Django guy was cool to somebody who had this particular condition. I can do that too. I think that's awesome. I think that's really, really cool.
And just to be clear, it's my staff. I run away when anybody's in the store.
The accommodation that they make for Django is that they just get out of the way the minute that someone comes in the store.
He's going to yell something nuts, and I'm going to have to deal with it.
Friends, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us today. We do have to move on, but I'm realizing this is a much larger conversation, and maybe we should redo this in our long form podcast, the Comic Industry Insiders, where we can start to break some of this down. I think that'd be really great. So hopefully you guys will be able to come back and we'll be able to get into this in detail. Thank you again. Quick shout outs to from all of you. Where would you like people to find you, Sam?
Instagram, Facebook at Dreamers Be More.
Chris?
You can find Secret Lair Comics on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm at CB Author on Instagram.
Britton?
TheAutismScene.org.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much. Really, really much appreciated. And we're looking forward to a brighter future for our comics stores to be able to bring these learnings to the world. So thank you again. Awesome. All right. Let's move on to something that now feels trivial.
Your whole job.
Everything I do in my day now feels trivial. Thank you very much. Let's talk about what's all going on in comic shops right now. This is something that a project that I personally have been working on for about 8 or 9 years, and we're finally getting to a place where we can report on weekly sales inside of comic shops. This week, all of that data comes from Comic Shop Assistant, the POS system that Django and his partner Jeff run, and do an amazing job for their comic shops that run it. We are currently reporting from 98 stores in various markets that we've anonymized and pulled together so that we can give a good feeling for this. It should be noted that as we mentioned, as we were introducing this, we have a top 400 that we're going to be posting inside of the bullet at the end of the week. So if you are not already signed up for the Prana Bullet, go to pranadm.com and you can see that. Django, yes. This is interesting stuff that we're going to start getting into once a week, right? I mean, how much of are there any surprises here that from your store that didn't play out throughout?
This isn't from the week where the Mark Spears blind bag was like 10 times anybody else's numbers, is it? Because
I don't think so.
There was a week where that
them on here.
Yeah. So that showed up and we actually did a lot of digging to make sure it was accurate. And it turns out it was true. That was like, okay, cool. Not what I expected to see there. I'll be honest.
Also should be noted that these weekly numbers are much more different. They're much different than the monthly numbers. The monthly numbers kind of give you a balanced view, right. Especially DC and Marvel are always very close, even though DC is starting to reach some parity where they're leading more often than Marvel is. But we see these wild swings on week to week. So that's what we're looking at here.
Yeah, but that's I hadn't really thought about that, but that's totally true. The weekly is a resolution that can be misleading if you're only looking at the week.
Yeah,
it's super interesting.
But it's fun. It's fun to see DC Comics leading by that much. Look at those percentages.
Bonkers. It's bonkers. And what was that? Was that
you know what? We were so busy leading up to press time that I haven't even pulled up those numbers. So I'm going to pull them up right now and I'll be talking. Oh yeah, here we go.
It's got to be Absolute Batman from
Arkham Special.
Yep.
Yeah, looking at Arkham Special. The top. Well, here's the top 10. We should have this as a slide next week. Batman Arkham Special, Batman number 5, Absolute Superman, DC KO Night Fight number 3, Amazing Spider-Man number 19 coming in at number 5. First time that Marvel gets on there. Ultimate Endgame number 1 coming in at number 6. Ultimate Wolverine at number 7. Absolute Green Lantern at number 8. What a world where Green Lantern makes the top 10. Look at that. X-Men number 23 at number 9, and Batman Green Arrow The Question at number 2 at number 10. I mean, you can see, DC is just dominating, which is incredible considering that Marvel does so much to get as many SKUs on shelves as possible.
Right.
Right.
You know, it would be interesting. And I'm sure we have this data. I don't have the patience to pull the report, but how many of those were cloned over, auto-subscribed from a previous series? Because that Batman Question, I don't think that number 1 sold off the shelf at 10th position.
Well, this is this number that we're looking at is not FCR. This is actual sales.
Right. But we track whether a series has been put in someone's file through an auto sub process. So we can see if that book was something that the retailer was like, hey, you should read this. I'm saving one for you. Right. Which is an easier sales pitch. Then go look at the shelf and grab what you want.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious how many of the top 10 were heavily auto subbed and how many were pulled off the shelf based on their covers or.
Oh, you're going to have to give me that as a column in our next report. We're going to have to build that out.
So much data.
I will say average. We're looking at average per store of 10, almost 10 and a half copies of Batman Green Arrow, The Question, and average per store of 55 and a half for Absolute Batman Arkham. So, I mean, you can see that is there's a 5x difference between number 1 and number 10. The first entry on our list of the top 400 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles X Go. Is that what's the name of that? Who is that?
I
I'm
don't
gonna look
know.
at, oh, X Godzilla. That's right.
Ah,
Godzilla number 2 coming in at number 20. And then they have Twilight Zone number 3. More Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Conan the Barbarian coming in at number 33. IDW is doing fairly well in there. I think Dynamite's first placement is Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas number 1.
interesting.
That came in at number 38. And Dark Horse with a big, honestly, they have a big chunk of that that market share. Dark Horse comes in Nemesis Forever number 5 at number 45. So
Nice.
yeah, Boom Entertainment coming. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book. Let's see, Zord Quest number 1 coming in at number 52. There you go.
Yeah, I'm excited to look at the way that you present this stuff.
Yeah.
Because I look at it when I have a question, but I don't keep track of it. So having
Well, listen, when we first started doing this, we just wanted to look at the fan confidence rating because we wanted to see what we could learn about, how publishers, how much the promotion they're doing ahead of time affects their eventual sales. Right. And what we found was people just want the horse race. They just want to know who's winning. So,
Are you using the fan confidence?
We're using the fan confidence rating internally for clients. So the idea being that we're going to be able to start projecting out what you're selling once you're seeing that. Because in the old days, we used to be able to look at the initial order and kind of project out what we're going to see at FOC. Now nobody does initial orders. Like
it's initial order.
Initial order. That's exactly right.
Sorry, publishers.
Anyway, what do you want to see? We'd love to hear from you, both in the chat and send us an email. Let us know what you want to be seeing in these, because we're going to be building this out this year, and hopefully in a more dynamic way, in a way that you can access it. So we're hopeful that publishers and fans alike can start taking a look at how things are doing. Big ups to Ignition Press making it on the list. Let's figure out where they came in at top 10 here. Let's see.
Scrolling.
Hold. Ignition. Arcadia number 1. There you go, at number 248. So
nice.
Good job, guys.
Very pretty.
Getting on that list. Awesome. All right. One more final cut. We talked a lot about autism in comics, and this actually has an autistic character in it. I'm really proud of that. But more than that, we're going to be talking about a book that is coming for Free Comic Book Day from our friends at the Hacker Comics, Recca Comics. Why did I say hacker? I was literally reading it backwards. Recca Comics. Who have been starting a new series called The Future Is, and we produced a book for them for their Wild West Hackin' Fest, and they've decided to put that on. Blake, let's run the tape.
Welcome to the Final Cut, where we take a quick look at upcoming projects headed to final order cutoff. I'm your host, Keith Davidson, Prana's Direct Market Specialist, and I'm joined this week by Jason Blanchard and Deb Wigley of Recca Comics to talk about the Free Comic Book Day offering of The Future Is Annual 2026. Deb and Jason, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Keith. Yeah, thanks for having us.
For those who may not know, what is The Future Is?
The Future is like the never-ending episode of Black Mirror. Like it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It's like a dystopian future where like all the things that we're like, yay, technology. But what if it's misused, abused, and hacked? And like all the things that we think are going to bring us joy and bring us happiness and bring us all this is just pure chaos. And so they're a team of hackers trying to make the world a better place.
It's like Mission Impossible and Black Mirror, but also a little bit of Scooby-Doo in there because it's a team. There's, a team of people, plus there's a dog, and they go on adventures and they try to solve cases and stuff. So it's a little Scooby-Doo-ish.
So Free Comic Book Day may be several months away, but retailers will be pre-ordering their inventory next week already. Why don't you tell us what Recca Comics is offering for Free Comic Book Day?
So we're doing a 60-issue series. So issues 1 through 60 is a complete, total, overarching story. Free Comic Book Day is a standalone issue. So it is the team goes to an actual hacker conference where they're just going to spend time together as a team. While they're there, they have to fight against I don't know, it's like the Matrix meets like a giant white rabbit meets like a terrifying huge monster.
The rabbit's pretty terrifying. I was not expecting when the art came in. I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually very scary.
How do you think new readers will respond to this free comic book day offering?
Most people go in looking for Marvel issues, looking for DC issues, looking for that next big storyline, looking for things that are familiar to them. And then every once in a while, they're like, what is this? That is what the future is for people. They're going to take a look at it and go, what is this? There are actual hacking challenges inside the comic book. So for people who are new to cybersecurity, new to hacking, there is literal cybersecurity challenges in that comic that are related to the story that any reader can take a look, go to a URL, go to a website, and it will give them instructions for how to actually solve this hacking challenge. And Deb, you're an amazing CTF player, but do you have any background in cybersecurity before you actually got here?
I did not officially. And there are different levels from super beginner to advanced. But yeah, I had no cybersecurity training at all before getting into this. And I found it very challenging, but also really exciting to figure it out.
Now, for the hardcore fans who are in the hacker community, do you have any plans to drive them to stores for Free Comic Book Day?
Yeah, so this comic that is coming out did release at a hacker conference, and it was a very limited run. So a super limited run of this comic at a very specific hacker conference. And so for the thousands and thousands and thousands of hackers that are unable to go to that event, they've been wanting to get this issue and they cannot because it's only available there. So now we're making it available at the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comic book stores that are going to have it. And so the hackers, the cybersecurity community, these people who are fantastic, ethical hackers who are good at making security better, are going to go to the local comic shop and get that, and most likely get the Marvel and DC and other comics too. And so, Deb, you just got like a whole bunch of emails in this week from the people who participate in the CTF challenges. And what was some of their feedback?
Some of their feedback was, I have not been a comic reader ever, and now I have 200 plus. That was one of my favorite ones that came in. So we kind of like gave him a new addiction. I don't know, hobby. That's what it is. It's a hobby.
Now, for fans who are coming into the comic shops for the first time and picking up the annual, and if they love it, and they will, what should they look for after that?
There's an opportunity to pick up the first 12 issues through the new manga size or compact size edition of the first volume, which got the first 7 issues. And then most likely your comic shop's going to have 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 that's on the shelf. And so they can get those and keep reading. But issue 13 starts a brand new arc. I don't want to give too much away, but what we've been trying to explore in this future is like, well, what happens to this part of society? What happens to this part of society? So the future storyline is about what if AI becomes a cult leader?
And that'll be hitting stores right after Free Comic Book Day, I believe. So perfect entry to the series. Great. Any last words that you'd like to share about The Future Is?
The annual is a really good introduction to the team, and also how they have this desire to really make their world a little bit safer.
Like at the very core of all this is a fun story about the future. What we really hope people do is that they read this and go, is the future set in stone or can I still influence it? And for most people, they don't realize that the future is, and there's like 6 characters password protected. It is different every time because nobody knows what the future is. Every issue is another chance for you to think about what the future is.
That's a great way to end, I think. Thank you guys for joining with us. And to our viewers, one last reminder that The Future Is Annual 2026, our Free Comic Book Day book, is published by Recca Comics and is going to be available on Monday's FOC, January 19th. Don't miss out.
Look at that.
Very cool. The future is comics, right?
I mean, comics is a 6-letter word. The future is comics. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The future is secure. The future is scary. The future is that F word that people assume automatically assume is the case. It's all those things. The future is what we make it to be. One of the things I love about working with these guys is they really are on the cutting edge of technology, and they know when you ask them what scares them, like their eyes, the 1,000-yard stare. It's terrifying what they know, but they also are all incredibly hopeful. right?
Yeah.
They know that we get to make it, right? So that's what I love about these guys.
So should I look these guys up on Facebook? Is that what you're saying?
What's that?
Should I look them up on Facebook?
Sure.
Or are they way too smart to be on Facebook?
They're way too smart to be on Facebook. Are you kidding me? They love LinkedIn. Cybersecurity loves LinkedIn.
Nice.
Yeah. And I just want to note it. There is a 10 copy bundle. You can get the single issues as a single copy, but there's a 10 copy bundle available right now for you. And there are free comic book day books available to you. So number
Super
10 is
cool.
there. I want it noted. We got some feedback this week that a retailer complained we're not carrying your copy anymore because we can only get it in 10 copy bundles. No, you just ordered it.
You just can't get it in 10 copy bundles.
You
and
can.
Also,
you don't have to.
Yeah.
Also, that's not a bad word. Apparently, I don't know. I'm not airing all the dirty
we're
laundry here
all
today.
special flowers, Adam. There's things that drive me nuts that are not things that drive everybody else nuts.
There's so many. The biggest strength and the biggest weakness of the direct market is that it's 2,500 of you, and if you ask any of you a question, you're going to get 1,500 25,000 answers. It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
special variants.
You're all special, each and every one of you. This real quick, Negative Burn is available right this second. We're running a campaign. Our one of our clients is Desperado Books. They are putting out Negative Burn, which is an incredible history of making the careers of some of the best comics creators in our industry. They're relaunching on Zoop right now. You should go to that in the link in the comments. Let's find where is it? Let's go with that one. You should go to that link right there and check it out, or scan the QR code so that we can see that you did that. And check it. It's a beautiful book with some amazing creators.
Who's that second cover there next to the listener?
That is Sam Keith.
No kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's got like Alex Horley colors to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Right? I think that's his name. I'm big fan of Sam Keith and Horley.
It's the nerdiest thing that's been said on this show, and we've been going an hour.
Ryan.
Anyway, check it out. Zoop.com, not Zoop.com. It's zoop.gg/negativeburn. Or scan the QR code. We'd love to have you as a backer on this one. There is a really fantastic retailer tier, and we're going to do our best to make sure that retailers get a bigger piece of this when the time comes. You know what? I hate to do this to you.
I see.
It's
fine. I'm a proxy Brian.
Slide up here. I feel so bad. You've come and you've done this service. You could go to Manage Comics. You could managecomics.com. You could scan the QR code, but really, it's probably just going to lead you to Comic Shop Assistant. So why not go there?
No, you should check out managecomics.com and comicshopassistant.com.
Absolutely.
Brian's got a good thing. It's perfect for a lot of stores. We've got something that's good for a lot of stores too. So,
Blake, will you make sure that we get CSA the link to Comic Shop Assistant in the chat as well? Let's
shoot me some specs and I'll make a slide for next time.
Next time you're good at guessing. All right, Comics the Magazine. We are putting a magazine about comics into comic shops. It's the best magazine about comics in comic shops. Period. Let's just call it that. It is the best, the greatest of all time. And I feel like this is a time for us to give it away. Blake, do you want to come on? Are you able to come on and help us give this thing away? We've got a zero that gets you an $85. We've created our own currency, $85 bill.
In the shape of a magazine.
I see you in the snark. Let's give this thing away, Blake.
All right, here we go. Let's see. We got to share a screen here.
All right.
And
we're also giving away these trading cards.
Yeah, you get a set of trading cards and a Comics the Magazine issue 0.
Only available at
more seconds. Put a
more in New York Comic Con. Where's the
and Comics Pro for Django?
We'll see. All right, let's remove this. Let's do that, and then we'll.
We gotta do that.
Hey,
How
about that? All right, here we go. See, I know things.
All right,
hit the button.
Here we go. We had like double entries in last week, I think.
It's a lot of people.
A lot of DMS in there.
just testing, you know.
Well, we can pick another one.
Let's do it again. Kyle, if you want one, you can have one.
No, I
buddy.
think it's from telling people to put insiders in the chat.
Yeah. All right, let's try it once again. Let's go.
Right. Here it comes. It's gonna be managed comics.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Super rigged.
All right.
Hey, Blake, could you try that again?
Yeah, third time's the charm.
Oh, if this doesn't work, I'm going to give it away myself.
Hey!
There it is.
Jamie.
Oh, thank you. Our ace in the hole, Jamie Coville, who came in with that clutch confirmation that Laura Jones is Laura Jones. Jamie, please send us an email at info@pranadm.com. We will go ahead and get you your little care package out. And apparently we also have to send one to Brian and one to Kyle.
Gonna send one out to the team.
Send one to myself. I'm gonna be sending that to myself. Awesome. All right, buddy. Thank you, Django. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Blake, as always, bub. Thanks for putting this together.
That was a good show. Shout out to Megan for getting that panel. That was a great panel. That was fun.
No kidding.
I agree. Too. You guys could have talked way longer. We should revisit that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and schedule them out. Let's do an episode, a longer episode where we talk to them and make them repeat everything they just said. It's rehearsal.
Yeah. Test run.
You know what? You there. See there? I see you. You're in your comic shop. Maybe you're doing the laundry, but I see you. And I want to say, if you showed up this week into a comic shop and you bought some comics, thank you. If you went into your shop and you vacuumed the floor and you put new comics on the shelves, thank you. If you made comics, if you self-published comics this week, if you were figuring out how to market yourself and how to get them printed and which conventions to go through, thank you. If you're a distributor, a publisher, if you are any step in the chain, absolutely thank you, because this week, you know what you did? You saved comics. So thank you, because we don't know how to do anything else. Namaste, y'all.